Welcome.
Peter, what about the rest of us?
Come on. I'm the guts and the glue.
So we just did a whole show and found out the mic wasn't on. So what we're going to do is after we do this show, we're going to play the original show, and Peter is going to dub in what he actually said.
Welcome to Stand Up Memories.
See?
And we've got a terrific show. Jackie the Joke Man Marling, front and center. I'm Peter Bales, and our special guest, Courtney Autera.
Is this on?
My mic is on, and we're good. And this show is about starting out in stand-up comedy. I don't care who you are. If you're a comedian, you have to start somewhere, and it's never easy. And Courtney is one of the new comedians on the scene here on Long Island. And she's going to share her experience with a couple of oldsters who remember when we started out. I think it was much tougher because we didn't have comedy classes.
Yeah.
We had to go to open mic nights right straight off, and it was difficult.
For me, I played in a band and told jokes, told dirty jokes. That's what I do, told dirty jokes. I played in a band and told dirty jokes. But we worked in these, you can't say rough and tumble because that gives the wrong connotation, but you know, beer joints and screaming people, and sometimes they paid attention more than others. And you spent 90% of your energy getting there, we're over here, we're telling jokes, we're playing songs, and then all of a sudden you get on the stage and catch a rising star, and the focus is on you, and it's like a bull in a china shop. But when I went on the first time, I put together 6 pages of jokes and studied and studied and studied to where I thought I knew them. I took a lot of jokes, and I wasn't married, but my wife this, my wife that, my wife this, my wife that. And I got up on stage you got in line to catch a rising star and you got a number. And you're lucky you get 20. But then you think you're getting closer, and then David Brenner walks in and does 45 minutes. You get a little closer, and Ed Bluestone does 40. And all of a sudden it's 2 in the morning, there's nobody there. And I finally get on stage, and there's a smattering of people, but there's like 4 people. 2 young people and 2 old people, man, woman. And I imagine it was a couple in my mind from the Midwest and their daughter and her boyfriend, or their son and his wife, whatever. And I was nervous and it was horrible, and I got 6 pages of me and my wife. And the first thing out of my mouth, I said, my girlfriend.
Oh my God.
Which just destroyed, and I didn't have anywhere near the presence of mind to change every single, and I have no idea what happened for the next 3 minutes. I have no idea. All I know was I was stumbling and freaking, and all of a sudden, in a stage whisper, the guy in the front says to his wife, how much can we take?
Oh my God.
And I could still hear him. And Rick Newman, who owned Catch a Rising Star, that's his favorite story. He loved it.
That's so traumatizing.
He was a big Stern fan. He said, he loves the fact that I can't even tell you how much can we take? So that's.
This is Courtney Autera.
And she was in your class.
She was in my comedy class, standupuniversity.com, where we spent 5 weeks preparing completely new comedians to go up and do their first show. She was wonderful, and now she's out there on the scene doing open mic nights and getting booked where she can book.
And she's an actress, so she had like one leg up. Did you come on to his program with people you knew, or was all?
I just heard about it through family friends.
But I'm saying you weren't in the class with other people you knew.
No, I didn't know them to start with, but yeah, I came from an acting background, and I ended up really enjoying stand-up after that.
And you're still in college now?
Yeah, I'm
a junior where?
5 Towns College.
Oh, a true football powerhouse, 5 Towns College. And a theater major, I understand?
Yeah, theater major.
Good for you. I was an undergraduate theater major.
Oh, actually?
I absolutely was.
Oh my God.
And you know, it took 4 years to discover I cannot act at all.
Oh.
I love Robert Klein's line. I couldn't do Shakespeare without spitting. But you love acting, comedic acting, and stand-up, and you don't know which way you're going to go yet, right?
Yeah, I'm just seeing where I end up, honestly. Like, I'm a huge SNL fan, so like if I ever got on SNL, I would.
So
That's
you have
my
a
life
you have a
goal.
specific goal. That's
Yeah.
very cool.
Good.
That's very cool.
Very good, very good. Now,
Is that a 4-year or 2-year college?
4-year, so I'm in my 3rd.
Wow.
all right, and you're going to get out in 4 years? That's a miracle.
Yeah, I know, right?
Wow.
Now, so the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Did she make you laugh?
She made me laugh. She makes a lot of people
thank
laugh.
you.
And when it's good, it's good. When stand-up comedy, it's, the old saying is, and you will know exactly what I'm talking about.
If it's funny, they laugh.
If you're doing well before an audience and they're laughing and you're in control, it's better than sex. It's at least for guys. It's better than, you know what I'm talking about.
I don't remember.
Now,
I mean, I haven't had a laugh in that long.
but you know, Courtney, how much can we take?
No, there's people, you know, when you're done with your show and you're sitting there, I sign my books and sell stuff, and people are like, oh, that's so great, so much fun. How do you do that? And I always say the same thing. When you're doing great up there, there is no better job in the world.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
And
I
when you're
completely
sucking
agree.
up there, there is no worse job in the world.
Yeah.
Like, there is no middle ground.
Now you know the good, because
Yeah.
you've had
Because
great
you
sets.
feel it, like when I'm
Okay.
up there and it's going well, like I'm just enjoying it so much, and I like react off the audience. But then, like, you know, sometimes there'll be times when even if the audience is enjoying it, you don't feel it, and it's kind of like you going through the motions. And you can see
Sometimes
the
you're playing
difference.
tennis against a padded wall. You know?
Yeah.
Now, the bad.
No, wait. Now, when you're doing a show, say, so they're actually booking you for shows. I don't even know anymore. Are you doing 10 minutes? Are you doing 25 minutes? Are you doing?
The most I've done is 10, but I typically do around 7 or 8. So that's like on average what I do.
And you're always breaking in new stuff.
Yeah. So if I want to like add something new, I usually just like add in like 1 or 2 jokes, because if I add in too many, like I'll mess up my set.
Oh,
and
no,
like you
absolutely.
gotta stick with what works too.
Absolutely, that's the way.
Yeah.
How
Now,
do
you told us she had to stand up and do her act, right?
Here on the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'll work. That's fine. That's a pet peeve of
You'll be
mine.
following him.
Yeah. I have to say, I love how you guys are like matching right now with your shirts.
Thank you. We
Yeah.
we had a phone call earlier today. We went through our closets together.
Oh, actually?
Yeah,
Oh
we
my
did.
God, I love that.
We did. We do that
You
all
gotta,
the time.
you gotta do that.
We
you
do
know,
that
if you're in
even
a
when-
band, you have matching shirts, matching shoes.
Even when we don't have a
true.
show, we like to go through our closets
Aw.
together.
If I knew I had on the same shirt as him, I would have killed myself.
No, but
So, I want to ask you about the tough part of it. It's you have experienced bad shows, and do you bring that home with you? Do you feel bad the next day? Do you blame yourself? I never asked my kids or encouraged my kids, my own sons, to go into stand-up, because I couldn't imagine them facing the pain and the suffering that everybody
Yeah.
faces when you start out. It is such a horrible
But
feeling.
not when you start out. I don't know how long. There's many times you can do a show, and the fact that you stink has nothing to do with you. You know, it's a horrible, you know, the people are facing the wrong way, or they're all German, or, you know, there's a million different things that can go wrong. But I still carry it with me until the next time.
I do too.
And
Yeah.
you know, sometimes your next gig is the next night, sometimes not for 3 weeks. And you tell yourself it's not bothering you, but it is bothering
It is bothering you.
Because in your mind, like, oh, geez, you know, but yeah, you know. Wow.
Have you had tough shows where afterward?
Yeah, definitely. I'm gonna be honest, like it definitely does affect me, like when it doesn't go that well. And I've never like completely bombed yet or had like a really terrible show, but you know, there's been shows that weren't as great as others.
Now, do you go out with the other comics afterwards?
I do actually, yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Because
Sometimes-
that's the whole.
Oh, that's so much fun. We'll all go out to a diner and
That's
everything.
that.
Oh, I'm so
And,
glad you guys do that.
Sometimes I'm like the only
I
girl.
was so scared she
A
was
lot
going to
of
look at
times,
me like,
actually.
what are you talking
Like,
about?
what's
Yeah.
a diner? diners close early now. That's what's so shocking.
Some of them do. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
that's
it's
a-
because of COVID. Like,
I
Well, I
guess.
think they used to
Closes
close early
early.
when they knew you had just had a set.
One time I went to the diner with my friends, and like we were still eating, and they literally started turning off the lights. I think they were like giving us a hint.
That-
It
I
was
think
so
so.
Are you with
strange.
your friends or with the comics you worked with?
I was with like my friends that weren't comedians, but typically like I'll go to the diner after shows with like my comedian friends.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Now, so you do make close friends in stand-up, and sometimes lifelong friends.
Yeah, and
Which
it's
is
really
terrific.
nice because we're just like a whole like, community, and like we just all relate to each other, go through the same experiences in this industry. So
And
it's
right,
nice
right,
to
right,
have
and it just
friends like that.
just melds the whole thing together. It's very important.
Yeah.
And the stories of doing crummy are just wonderful.
Yeah, that's what you tend to talk about at the diner is not the good shows, but laughing at yourself and at your
Yeah.
friends who've had bad shows,
Definitely.
bad conditions. But you're in a situation where, you're in a comedy club or an open mic night. Jackie, you've had to turn off televisions before going. Talk about that.
Oh.
In the old days, before God created heaven and earth, there were no comedy clubs, and I had
Oh.
played in a band, and so I had a guitar amplifier and my guitar and a microphone, and I would play in clubs. Aside from my band, I knew I kind of had to split off, so I'd play solo and sing my songs and play my songs and tell my jokes, and then I got to know a bunch of the comedians, and I'd have them. They'd come and sit in, stand in, whatever. So then I started producing comedy shows where go into a bar and say, listen, what's an off night? Give me a Wednesday night. Give me $200, $300, $100, whatever it was back then, and I'll bring comedians, and hopefully people will enjoy it, and we'll do a show, and you ask X amount. Most people went for it. They did shows in every little crap hole on Long Island. You wouldn't believe it.
Oh.
And but people would come out from Manhattan because these guys are working in the city. I actually passed at the comic strip, but I wouldn't go in there. I'm not going to drive all the way to the city and then park and then
Oh,
get
yeah.
$5 and do 7 minutes. I'm out on Long Island doing 45 minutes and doing my stupid jokes and getting drunk and then doing these shows. And but guys, they'd come out from the city because, like Peter had a car, some people had a car, and it was worth it for them because they'd make $40. They'd get a little bomb, they'd smoke a joint, they'd meet a girl, meet a guy. So it was a fun little thing. But it was rough going, and there was one specific time, and I still remember so clearly, that's what he's talking about, someplace in Suffolk. I knew nothing about hockey, okay? And hockey is such a big deal, and this was right at I started in comedy right when the Islanders were won 5 championships in a row or some crap like that. And we're supposed to do a comedy show. And the owner said, you better do the show, or you won't get paid. And Carol Leifer was there, who's the girl that Elaine from Seinfeld was based on, and a couple other people.
Oh my God.
And these guys were sitting at the bar I think it was in double overtime. The Islanders game was in double overtime. And I had to climb up on the bar and turn off the television.
Oh no!
And
Oh my God!
I mean, holy Christ! And to this day, Carol Leifer remembers that. She's like, "Boy, you had some balls, but you didn't have a choice." But that's the Wild West. That's the
I
Wild
was
West.
on stage at a comedy club called Rascals in 1986 when a baseball went through Bill Buckner's legs, and up at the bar I hear huge cheering, and 7 people looked at me in total silence that were
And you're
actually in
thinking,
the
boy,
audience.
I don't remember that
shouldn't
joke
even
doing
have
that
been-
well.
Oh my God!
Yeah, I shouldn't have been on stage during the World Series. So you've had tough
Wow.
shows, but I mean,
Yeah, I mean, fortunately, like I said, I haven't experienced a show where I totally bombed, but there's been shows that were not as great.
okay.
When you're going on, if you're doing a show where you're doing 7 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever, you're probably on early, so like you're not getting on late where everybody's drunk and crazy.
That's true. I mean,
Right?
sometimes,
I mean-
like on occasion, I'll be at the end of the lineup, but like, yeah, I've obviously never headlined yet or anything, so I'm usually
But I don't
early.
think people actually get drunk like they used to, and just in general,
Oh,
right?
yeah, no, sometimes.
sometimes
I
they
mean,
do.
I feel like at the clubs, like they don't that much, but you know, sometimes I'll do like bar shows and there'll be like these drunk hecklers.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, those are always.
So you're always trying out new material, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's the toughest thing.
Yeah,
in
that's the
stand-up.
toughest thing. Because sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But when it works, it's like the best feeling.
It is. It makes your. I was talking to somebody last night. It makes your whole night
It does.
and your next day too, if the new joke works.
You know,
Yeah.
I always just told old jokes. Well, for a while, I did regular stand-up, and then, you know, when you tried something, you know, I don't know. I always had a hard and fast rule, and I used to share it with other people even when I stopped. I said, if you come up with something and you do it, and it doesn't work, you do it again. It doesn't work, you do it again. 3 times, 3 strikes, you're out. Unless it's something you like so much, it's like, fuck the audience, this is staying in, you know. And
Well-
I thought it was a pretty good hard and fast, you know.
Well, I mean, the audience decides what's funny, not the comedian.
Do you guys ever laugh at your own jokes? Because that's like happened to me
So,
sometimes.
okay, I'm sorry, but the question is best answered by Jackie. Do you
That's-
ever? Well,
That's
talk about,
all I
talk
do.
about
That's
that.
all I do is laugh at my own jokes.
Like I've done that on stage and I've fully like had to like take a second to like get over it. And like I have this one friend Dan, and like whenever he hears a joke he likes of mine, like we'll just come up with inside jokes about that joke. So he'll come to my shows and I can't look at him in the audience, or else I'll start laughing.
because you
on
know what he's
stage.
thinking, and
Yeah.
so
But you have a bubbly character on stage, and I said you
Yeah.
reminded me when I first saw you of a young Goldie Hawn.
Yes,
She's very
which is a
bubbly,
huge compliment.
and it's a big compliment. And Jackie effectively uses laughing at his own jokes as a comedy technique. As
But
do you.
I don't use it.
Thank you.
That's
Yeah, try to go
something
along
that
with it.
innately happens. It's an innate part of. It's not something, a planned thing. Like let
it's
me.
very
We'll put a
spontaneous.
gunshot here, and we'll slam the door here, and we'll laugh there. I mean, I can't tell those stupid jokes without laughing, and that's really.
And in a way you're laughing at the situation. Here we are here you
Yeah.
are here.
You know,
here I am.
I've actually been working on putting together a one-man show or you know, documentary about jokes and stuff. And it dawned on me the other day, and I haven't shared this even with my girlfriend, that a joke is such an, I don't want to get crazy, but a joke is such a weird thing. A joke is like a match. You take a match and you light it, and it lights. But you try the same match again, it doesn't light the second time because there's no spark.
Oh.
And I'm thinking, when I tell a joke, I'm providing the spark. Because people tell me that they've heard the same joke from me 15 times and they're still laughing, and they get mad at me. It annoys them that they're still laughing.
Well, that's
So-
because you tell jokes better than anybody else.
Well-
Yeah, no, I watched
people
your
can't
stand-up.
just tell the joke that you tell and get a laugh. They have to do it the way that you've cultivated over a lifetime.
Yeah, there's a little, you know, and it's interesting. It's.
Now-
But you know, the trouble with comedy is that the minute you start talking about it and dissecting it like we are, it's like all the fun goes flying out the
Yeah.
window. You know?
Yeah, I guess.
A little bit.
But how do you come
You
up
know,
with new
you know,
material, Courtney?
You start
Oh
discussing
my God,
comedy,
all
my act
different
becomes
ways.
your act.
Honestly,
Yeah, he's laughing at his own joke again.
That's all I do.
Tell me about how you come up with new stuff.
wow, it's like all different places. Like one of the things like I learned in your class was like we wrote down our pet peeves and then kind of turned them into stories. And I do that a lot. And then also I'll use experiences that like happen to me, but I'll exaggerate them. And like sometimes like I'll just be in my room at like 2 a.m. and I'll just start thinking of funny things, and like something will just come to me, and I'll like get my computer, I'll quickly type out a joke, and I'm like, oh my God, like this is, and I'll try it and it works.
Don't save it for the next morning because
Yeah,
you
I
won't
do it
remember
right
it.
away.
You have to do it right away.
Well, that's funny you talk about the computer, because so many times in the middle of the night you think of something and you write it down, and the next morning absolutely can't read what he
Yeah.
says. So that probably doesn't happen with a computer.
Now, you think of stories, but remember what we talked about in comedy class, topic, premise, punchline. And we said
Yeah.
over and over again, real life rarely works in stand-up comedy. You take something that happened in real life, you exaggerate and you twist it to get the
Yeah.
audience to laugh. Now, you're a great, bubbly, happy, I'm sure you're not happy all the time, but when I see you,
She's probably
you're happy on
miserable.
stage.
Don't.
You're not happy all the time. You
She's
can't, nobody can
probably
be happy.
miserable.
But you're a pretty happy person, is that
Yeah,
fair?
in general, I'm a pretty happy person.
And I would want you to exaggerate on stage.
Yeah, I'm definitely like on stage, like I'm just an exaggerated version of myself, as many comedians are. I mean,
As you should
That's
be.
what we do.
Of course.
Right, that's what you want to do. And don't ever forget about the fun. You having fun out there? What's fun
oh
for you?
yes.
What's fun in stand-up?
Just like I feel like I'm on stage and I just enjoy every second of it. And like I feel like I've always had the persona I have on stage, and now that I do stand up, it gives me a chance to like get it out.
Yes.
Like, you know, I would just come
Because
up
you
with
can't
all these
really
dumb
do that
things.
when you're acting.
Yeah, like I can't really say all these dumb things I come up with in real life. So I just I take it to the stage and I just get it all out. And I just love like, you know, the energy of the audience, like just feeding off of them, and like they're having a good time, and it just makes me so happy.
Do you
Good.
tape yourself every show?
Not every show, but I try to as much as I can. Sometimes
I would
hate
I
watching
would say
myself.
that is one of the most hard and fast rules. Is to, well, I don't know, like what do people use iPhones? I used to have that micro cassette recorder, and I recorded every show for years and years and years, but it never failed that if I was doing something and I either had an aside or a heckle, I'd be like off mic a little and I would yell something or say something and it'd be the biggest laugh of my show. And you couldn't make it out on the, if I had a nickel,
Yeah.
for how many times I played back the, oh God, you get
That's
so
the
frustrated.
best.
Here's a piece of advice. If you're ever recording yourself on your iPhone, just be careful, because at the Improv back in the day, somebody put their tape recorder on a shelf in the back, and a couple of comics didn't know the tape recorder was right there, and they were standing close, and they said to each other, "This guy sucks. I can't believe they put him on."
No.
Yeah.
Oh
And
my
who were they
God.
talking about?
I don't actually remember. I
No
remember the
way.
incident. I don't remember who the comedian was. But you've got to be
I think I
careful.
do, but I'm not going to take a shot. I mean, I wasn't in that
Oh,
neck of the
be
woods. but
careful.
That
of
is so
It's a
But it's a
famous
good
traumatizing.
idea to
story.
record if you can. It's hard.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's hard to listen back to it.
I have a tripod, so I always I try to set that
Yeah.
up if I can. Oh my God, Jackie, I actually have a question for you. So you were a writer on the Howard Stern show. Did you ever meet Beetlejuice?
Of course.
No way. Oh my God, I'm so jealous.
Please, please.
How do you spell
For you
red?
people that don't know, there's this misshapen black dwarf, and I don't even know if he's a dwarf. He's about 3 feet tall. I assume he's still alive.
Yes, he is.
And he started coming on maybe a year before I left. And this guy is so odd and misshapen and so weird looking. And he's a moron. And he's an egomaniac. If you could possibly put those in the same jar and shake it up and spit it out. There was not a time that guy walked into the studio that me and Fred, the other writer, didn't look at each other and go, what the? I mean,
He's
you
so
never
funny.
prepared for it. You never prepared for it. Oh, no, you
That
don't want
guy-
anything to do with
No,
it.
I've been laughing at that guy since I was in like elementary school. Like I always watch his videos. Did you see the part where like Howard Stern asked him like how do you spell red, and he goes red Lster. If you dig
That-
it,
Well,
Those things
Courtney's a fan.
Those things went on and on and on. Oh, God.
Oh.
It just, you know, it pushed all comedy off the table.
Ah.
You know what I mean? Because there's nothing funny after that. I mean, it's not that he's not funny. He's funny, but he's for all the wrong reasons. You're laughing at him for all the reasons you shouldn't.
Well,
You know.
but you're laughing. That's the
Oh
point.
Yeah.
God. You know.
I follow
Courtney.
him everywhere.
Courtney Autera. I am predicting a successful career in comedy, stand-up
you.
acting for you.
And I will be setting Courtney up on a date with Beetlejuice.
Oh my God.
Oh no.
I'd love that.
Courtney Autera, she's out there at the comedy clubs, out and about, starting out in stand-up comedy. Not easy to do, right?
No, definitely not.
But it's
Spell her
something-
last name again.
Autera, Courtney Autera. And this has been Stand-Up Memories. Thank you for inspiring the next generation.
She is the
Thank you
next
for having
She
generation.
is the
me.
next generation, the generation after her.
Yes.
And reminding us what it was like when we had to start out. Stand-Up Memories, Jackie the Joke Man Martling, Peter Bales, our special guest, Courtney Autera. Thank you. And
Thank you, Peter, for a fun show. Don't you want to plug your comedy class?
oh, my comedy class, my
Peter has a
school.
comedy class.
I didn't know that.
And Courtney
It's a
Autera
comedy
is,
school
is a
where
proud
People
graduate.
pay money.
StandUpUniversity.com. Go check it out. And we'll see you next time on Stand Up Memories.
That was a pretty good episode.
A new episode every Wednesday with me, Peter Bales, Jackie the Joke Man Martling, comedians, interesting people. Leave a comment. We'll get what am I saying?
I don't know.
We're gonna get back to you. We will respond to your comment.
StandUpMemories.com, if you go there, it shows all the different
All
platforms.
Spotify, we're on everything.
Every Wednesday.
Stand Up Memories,
Every Wednesday.
a new episode.